Hello, meow, and welcome to another game demo. Tonight, technically, we're trying out White Cat Town Mystery. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a nice laid-back adventure. And perhaps best of all, I've confirmed my recording equipment is actually working this time, unlike the last demo I tried to put up. But let's not talk about that and let's get started. The train wheels whispered, mirroring the white cat's heartbeat. Lumi sat pensively with an old-school album resting on his lap. Click anywhere. Alright. Ow. His fingers traced the familiar faces, each image a nostalgic melody, laughter, riddles, dances, pranks, stories, memories woven in ink. His mind wandered to the 7 long years spent in the big city. A world apart from his hometown, the city's pulse, with all its trials and tribulations, echoed in his memories. Lumi, hopeful and innocent, once had nurtured noble aspirations to bring justice to the world. A deep sense of hurt and disappointment by the harsh and saddening truths he had uncovered washed over him. He felt that now was time to return, if only for a brief moment. Coming to this school reunion was a decision made on an impulse, yet, as he was getting closer and closer to his hometown, it stirred something within, a past left behind, yet ever present. He thought of his parents again. He often pondered on them and what it would be like for him if they were still here. The piercing sound of the train's whistle interrupted his chain of thought. He gazed down at the album. Within round frames, 6 faces, forever frozen in the timeless embrace of black and white, looked back at him. Oh, those are adorable. I love that one. The bottom middle. That's the best one. Adrian, the black fox, his gaze was piercing and pensive through the lenses of his pretentious spectacles. Then there was Lumi, a younger, more naive version of himself. Beside him, the ever-vivacious squirrel Clara, her eyes blazed with mischief. Isabella, the rabbit, looked ethereal. Her undeniable beauty is shining even in grayscale. Felix, the hamster, that's the best one, sported a cheeky grin, a hint of his playful nature. Ethan, the dog, his expression stilled in quiet contemplation, a silent observer of the world. Much like my dog. To explore the memories of your schoolmates, click on one of the paw icons. Oh, okay. Well, you feel like giving me the option. Felix's mischievous grin served as evidence of his unpredictable nature. Lumi remembered the school days filled with Felix's antics. It had become more and more audacious each time. But there were moments, fleeting and rare, when Felix would let his guard down, revealing that he was just desperately trying to fit in. How did Lumi feel about Felix? Ooh. Oh, shared secrets. Felix confided a secret to Lumi, something that revealed a vulnerable side to him. The cat created a bond, albeit a fragile one. Oh, this is really cool. There were legends going around the school about Isabella's ethereal beauty. Though to Lumi, she was more than just a pretty face. He was captivated by her charm, her magnetic energy and passion when she spun her stories, the shimmer in eyes when she talked about her dreams. Yet there was an air of mystery around her, a veil that few could ever lift. How did Lumi feel about Isabella? Lumi admired Isabella from far, never finding the courage to approach her or engage in meaningful conversations. The black and white picture didn't fully capture Clara's bubbly personality. The fiery hue of her fur mirrored her very essence. Lumi recalled her laughter echoing down the school hallways and her daring tricks that often landed everyone in trouble. Her vibrant sprint, a bright beacon amid routine days, drew others to her like moths to a flame. Yet behind those playful eyes, Lumi sensed layers of emotions, some of which she kept shielded even from her closest friends. Lumi reciprocated Clara's feelings, leading to a few sweet and instant romantic moments. However, their youthful inexperience led to some misunderstandings. Despite a few disagreements and their romantic relationship not lasting, they tried to preserve their friendship. Aww. Ethan's portrait spoke for itself. His drooping ears and pensive look were a reminder of his introverted character. Lumi recalled the moments they spent together, often finding solace in their shared silence, each lost in their own thoughts. Ethan's reserved nature sometimes led to misunderstandings between him and those around, but those patient enough to get to know him discovered a soul filled with depth and sensitivity. How did Lumi feel about Ethan? Protective. Lumi often felt the need to protect Ethan, standing up for him whenever he believed Ethan was being sidelined or bullied. Adrian's sharp gaze, amplified by his glasses, perpetually seemed to be analyzing the world around him. Lumi remembered many intellectual debates they had, stretching late into the night. Adrian's passion for knowledge was evident, yet sometimes accompanied by an air of aloofness. Times, when their relationship veered from the academic to the personal, Lumi felt an unfathomable depth within Adrian, a side that few got to see. Ooh. You have already... Oh. You've already chosen Lumi to be smitten with Clara. Given Lumi's introvert and deeply reflective nature, it is unlikely for him to develop strong romantic feelings for multiple individuals. Oh, darn. Okay. Well, in that case, Lumi and Adrian were both avid chess players, often engaging in intense matches that allowed them to showcase their strategic minds. The games were a mix of rivalry and mutual respect. Staring back at him was the younger version of himself, eyes brimming with curiosity and uncertainty. The lustrous white fur, which had not yet been worn down by traveling, appeared to glow. Lumi remembered the weight of those school days, the internal battles between longing to fit in and the desire to carve his own path. Who was that young cat, and how much had he really changed over the years? The soft glow of the town's lights shimmered like fireflies guiding Lumi back home. Very pretty. A gentle breeze flowing through the open window gently carried the familiar sense of the town. In that moment, the anticipation of returning blended with the uncertainty of long-awaited reunion and the weight of just-relived memories. As the town's lights grew brighter, a mixture of longing and trepidation took over Lumi's mind. He was on the cusp of revisiting a world he was once a part of, with all its joys, sorrows, and secrets. As the train pulled into the station, the brakes sighed, a mechanical exhale mirroring Lumi's own. He closed the album, carefully tucking it into his bag, and braced himself for the journey ahead. The evening platform was empty and quiet, tinged with a sense of déjà vu. As Lumi stepped off the train, the gravel crunched under his boots. Taking a brief sip of water, the station, a relic from a forgotten era, stood stoically, as if frozen in time. Lumi paused, wanted to remember every little thing in that moment. Took a deep breath, noticing that even the air felt different. Ooh. Lumi roamed the streets, surrounded by buildings that seemed to lean in, as if ready to whisper everything he had missed. With every step, he could feel the anticipation growing. Finally, the winding roads led him to the cafe. He hesitated at the entrance, inhaling deeply as if bracing himself to step into another world. Clara, the squirrel, was the first to spot him. Her fiery eyes lit up. She stretched a little, arching her back, and waved as if beckoning him to hurry up and join in with old friends. Getting closer to the table, he saw that the group had significantly perked up. Clara jumped up from her seat and hugged him tightly. It seemed almost automatic, something she couldn't quite control. A move that came involuntarily when you hadn't seen someone in ages. Lumi blinked in surprise at the gesture, standing still for a few seconds before mildly hugging her back. A shy smile tugged at the corner of his lips. Felix shot a quick look at Adrian, to which he responded with a slight haughty chuckle. You made it, Clara said, releasing bewildered Lumi from the embrace. Her voice was filled with energy, yet with a slight hint of strain, a departure from his memories. Felix the hamster quickly ran up to his old classmate, playfully tapping on his shoulder.
Sit down, Mr. City Guy. We were starting to think that your private jet couldn't make it due to weather conditions.
He looked around the table, gauging everyone's reaction to the witty remark. Lumi took the chair next to Clara, across from Ethan the dog. The latter sat quietly, watching this spectacle unfold. He glanced at Lumi, silently greeting him with his usual restrained smile. More firm, more confident now. As before, it didn't take If you can't tell, I've been speaking quite a bit this time. As before, it didn't take escapades of words to understand each other. A brief moment that spoke for itself. I'm happy you came. Adrian the Fox stood up solemnly from his seat, appearing as if he was about to make a crucial announcement. Adjusting his glasses, he began,
"As one noble laureate has told me."
His eyes softened, and his mouth broke into a welcome smile.
"Just kidding,"
he said, extending his hand to Lumi.
"I'm just glad to see you here."
Wow, Clara sighed. And here I thought this was going to be a speech about the importance of staying connected with old friends and its impact on our gray matter or something like that. Adrian looked at her, astonished.
You know Adrian always the life of the party,"
smirked Felix. The absurdity of such a statement made the group share a laugh, the ice effectively broken. Lumi now had a moment to look around. Adrian leaned back.
"It's like we've gone back in time, isn't it?"
"Yeah, it's like we've traveled back, but with a modern twist on it," nodded Clara, "with better clothes and hopefully better judgment." She added, sharply, glancing at Lumi. Her words carried a playful edge, but her voice was almost wistful.
Better judgment, you say? Have you ever seen my clothes?"
Felix teased, looking down his outfit. His voice was upbeat, but a tiny bit rehearsed. As the initial pleasantries melded away into deeper conversations, the topic naturally drifted towards their shared memories. They laughed while reminiscing about their attempt to sneak into the school's bell tower. Ethan got stuck halfway up the ladder, and how Clara rang the bell at that exact moment, making them school celebrities for a day. They reminisced about their teachers' secret nicknames and the funny situations that occurred during classes. They shared old, silly jokes about one another and discussed their favorite moments from the prom. As discussion about the old days slowly died down, Lumi couldn't help but glance again at the empty chair. It was silently calling attention to itself. A poignant reminder of someone vital missing from their reunion. Finally, he voiced the unspoken question that hung heavily in the air. "Has anyone heard from Isabella? She was supposed to be here tonight." The table grew noticeably quieter at the mention of her name. Claire's vibrant demeanor dimmed slightly and she shook her head. "I stopped by her place on my way here," she said, "but there was no sign of her. Her neighbor said she hasn't seen her for a couple days." Her voice was tighter. Ethan looked up with a concerned expression. "I tried calling her earlier," he shared. "No one answered. She's usually the one counting down the hours till an event like this." "That's troubling." Oh wait, I just used Ethan's voice for Adrian. Well, too late. "That's troubling," Adrian noted, adjusting his glasses. "I know she was looking forward to it tonight. She wouldn't cancel without a word." Felix, who had been attentively listening, subtly tried to steer the conversation away from darker topics.
"Maybe she just took a longer route," he suggested lightly. "Or perhaps she has a plan of some grand entrance. You guys know her. She always loved to be the center of attention. Maybe she'll come back soon, expecting us to be all over her." Clara shot Felix a look that was both sharp and concerned. "This isn't what that's about, Felix, I'm sure," she said. "We're talking about our friend here. Aren't you even a little worried?" "You're right," Felix admitted. "I'm sorry. We should try to reach out to her family and see if they know anything."
Everyone nodded in agreement. Adrian took the initiative and proposed a plan. "First thing tomorrow, I'll call her family to check in on her. And if you happen to meet her, please let me know. We need to make sure she's okay." The group let out a collective sigh of relief, comforted. How did I misread that so much? Comforted by Adrian's decisive action.
"So?"
Clara was the first one who decided to shift the conversation. Has anyone else noticed this odd, misty darkness lately, or is it just me? It's like the light is slowly getting sucked out of everything. Ethan's hands were tumbling slightly. I have, he confirmed. The days feel shorter than usual, and I don't think it's just because of autumn. There's something else. When my customers started mentioning it, I knew I wasn't just imagining things. I felt it as well, Adrian said. I can't quite put it into words. When I encounter something so obscure, my mind begins to imagine all sorts of possibilities. Adrian looked around the table. I think it's true for all of us. Without a clear understanding, it's easy to feel lost and overwhelmed. Felix seemed almost amused by the topic.
This enigma, this so-called mysterious darkness we speak of again, he mused. Perhaps it's merely a mass hysteria born from a weird weather pattern. Nothing more, nothing less.
Clara, her face tightening in frustration, shot back. Weather doesn't explain the feeling everyone has, Felix. It's deeper than that. It's as though the very soul of town is grieving. The group exchanged glances, feeling the tension but unable to identify its source. The growing unease in the room mirrored the darkness outside, transforming their joyful reunion into something more complex and fraught. Feeling the need to salvage the evening, Clara leaned forward. Let me remind all of you, Clara mouthed, her voice light and cheerful, that it's been ages, and I could really use some updates. Turning her attention back to Ethan, she inquired, How's your clock business going? All eyes turned towards Ethan, eager to hear his answer. He smiled, slightly surprised by the abrupt question. Well, it's good. I find a certain peace in aligning gears and hands. It's grounding. That's great, Lumi responded, smiling at Ethan. His gaze was filled with pride and admiration, and I'm so used to seeing the word pride and, I don't even remember how the meme went. That's great, Lumi responded, smiling at Ethan. His gaze was filled with pride and admiration. I have a workplace down by the river, Ethan offered. Come by if you ever need anything. And Adrian, are you still writing? Clara asked, shifting the attention of the table to the black fox. Adrian nodded, and a self-assured smile graced his lips. More than ever, he straightened his posture. I've recently published a collection of essays. I call it The Horizons of Logic, Navigating Reality in an Irrational World, and let me tell you, it sparked quite a debate.
And I heard that your public lectures practically spawned a cult following, flattered Felix.
Adrian chuckled, theatrically straightening his bow tie. Oh yeah, my Art of Reasoning series, he clarified. It feels good to shape the new generation of thinkers. They could really use more smart people in the world.
Well, and I'm still in sales.
Felix didn't need the invitation to speak about himself.
Our company's chemical solvents are top-notch. I'm the guy who bridges the gap between complex science and ordinary people.
So you're still one of the middlemen then, huh? Adrian noted.
Exactly. All this about finding out the right solutions, the exact right solutions for the right people. It's a high-pressure job, but that's what makes it exciting.
It sounds like you found your groove, added Clara.
Oh, you know me, always ready for a good challenge.
Felix's smile was the perfect finishing touch to this particular bit. It was evident that he was quite proud of himself. Well, for me, working at the restaurant is all about making others happy. Clara beamed with infectious energy, her eyes sparkling with excitement. I love seeing the faces light up. Oh wait, I need to check something. Okay, good. That was not the end recording button. Good. I love seeing their faces light up when they have a great time or when the staff celebrates after a good night. I just can't get enough of it.
Clara, the guardian angel of good vibes.
Felix couldn't help but chuckle at her enthusiasm. With a playful glint in her eyes, she rejoined, Hey, someone's got to keep the party going, right? Subsequently, the group's attention naturally shifted to Lumi. They all noticed that, while they had shared their own stories, Lumi had remained silent about his. Adrian smoothed back his hair, adjusting his glasses and locking eyes with Lumi. You move, Lumi. The board's set, he challenged, a confident smirk playing on his lips. What's your story? Lumi hesitated as if he was struggling to find the answer. I spent some time at a historical archive in the city, he began, choosing his words carefully. It was enlightening. So the city's caught your attention? Clara chimed in, her voice filled with genuine interest. Any particular reason? Lumi's eyes flickered. You could say that. I stumbled upon things. You're still not giving everything away. Adrian hinted at their shared past. Strategic and patient, just as I remember. Lumi smiled. The city has many layers, some best left unpeeled, like an onion.
No way!
Felix shouted, his eyes widened.
And you haven't yet told us all about it? If I were you, I wouldn't shut up.
He chuckled.
You have to give us more than that.
Ethan, his eyes soft but intense, watched Lumi closely, sensing the depth of unspoken tales. I've met someone. Oh wait, that's Lumi. I've met someone who has shown me another side of things. Lumi paused. Helena. A supple change in Claire's demeanor was evident. Her shoulders seemed tense and her playful energy diminished. Helena? She asked, her voice revealing a trace of jealousy she couldn't quite control. Lumi, sensing the shift, clarified. She was my mentor, someone who guided me through the hardships I faced in the city. Claire's eyes softened, a sign to realization dawning upon her. She sighed softly. Sounds like quite the teacher.
Always knew you'd find your way, my friend, said Felix, glancing right into Lumi's eyes. Good-hearted people are naturally drawn to you. Like attracts like.
Lumi gently chuckled. Perhaps. Groups sat together, enjoying a moment of quiet camaraderie. Lost in their thoughts, they gazed at the shimmering distant skyline, holding on to its secrets. Breaking the silence, Clara softly whispered, almost to herself. You know, life is quite a journey, isn't it? Indeed, Lumi nodded, his gaze distant, and everyone has their own path. Cafe noticeably Noticeably quieted. That's a typo. The cafe noticeably quieted, and the buzzing of the evening gradually faded into a quiet night. Ethan sat still, mesmerized by the vintage clock that hung above the cafe's entrance. It was a magnificent piece of craftsmanship. An ornate brass frame showcased intricate engravings. The gentle ticking sound filled the air, and Ethan seemed to wake up from a dream upon noticing the clock's hands that pointed to late hours. Time, he said quietly. Yes, murmured Adrian, his eyes fixed on the old school album. Time flies. No, smiled Ethan. Look at the clock. Oh, Adrian chuckled. Felix yawned and stretched, a wide grin on his face.
Looks like it's time for us to turn into pumpkins, he joked,
getting around a soft laughter from the group. It's been great to see all of you again. Clara then fell silent for a moment. I just wish Isabella could have been here. She rose from her chair, inviting others to do the same. As classmates began making their way to the exit, Lumi paused, contemplating about the evening. The empty chair stood still. Time flies, he whispered. Ethan, who had also sighed to stay a little longer, smiled softly at Lumi before neatly putting his chair back in place. Together, they head towards an exit. Ooh, fancy. As they stepped onto the cobblestone street, the city's muted glow seemed to hold them in a gentle embrace. Ethan paused, looking up at the starry sky. Until next time, he murmured, his voice carrying a quiet hope. Lumi's investigative nature kicked in. He looked at his classmates. I need another sip. Lumi's investigative nature kicked in. He looked at his classmates. This was the perfect time for a one-on-one conversation, a chance to gain insights into the town or perhaps to reconnect on a deeper level. Select a classmate to talk to while the others go home. Oh, okay. Let's see how much longer we have. We can do another little story choice. Well, because my voice is getting a bit raw, and I can do Felix's easy, it's Felix time! The group slowly wandered into the night, gradually making their way home. The clear sky was covered with bright stars. Lumi and Felix stood still, staring into the distance. The soft glow of the streetlights created a dreamy, soft atmosphere, a stark contrast to the lively chatter that had filled the cafe just moments ago. "Something on your mind?" Lumi asked, detecting Felix's unusually quiet demeanor.
Just thinking, that's all, he said with a subtle, sly smile playing on his lips.
"About what?" Lumi probed gently, sensing there was something Felix wanted to share.
Yeah, about that mysterious air everyone's talking about.
He glanced at his friend.
I think there's something you should know.
Lumi's eyes widened in anticipation. "What are you talking about?"
There's a place, he started. A place where shadows play tricks on your mind.
He was in no hurry to reveal all his cards at once, intensifying Lumi's already great curiosity.
I think you of all people would want to see it.
Savoring the dramatic pause, he continued.
I'm talking about the abandoned factory in the southwest.
Felix looked up, his face reflecting a hint of something Lumi couldn't quite grasp.
Some rather curious things have been happening there lately.
Intrigued yet curious, Lumi narrowed his eyes. Why haven't you said anything about... Why haven't you said anything at the reunion?
The reunion, sighed Felix. I don't think the reunion was the right time or place for it.
Why? Lumi frowned. Felix hesitated for a moment, as if recalling a rehearsed speech.
Because it involves something unexplainable. I didn't want to scare everyone or risk being dismissed as crazy, but I know you've always had an open mind, and I trust you.
I appreciate that. Although Felix's reasoning was logical, the feeling that there was something off didn't leave Lumi. It's getting late, he noted the hamster, noticing that this was the right time to leave Lumi alone with his thoughts. So, take care. Oh, wait. I had that one reversed.
It's getting late.
Okay, my voice is starting to die. We might have to end this soon, but I've had a lot of fun.
It's getting late,
noted the hamster, noticing that this was the right time to leave Lumi alone with his thoughts.
Take care, detective.
With a final smile, he walked away. As he watched Felix disappear into night, Lumi knew that he couldn't quite resist the allure of the mysterious place. The question remained, when? Lumi, now alone, was slowly making his way to the hotel, oblivious to the late hour, still mesmerized by the quiet ambience of the night. He was pondering on the reunion. His thoughts reached an abrupt end when the cobblestone path led him to an unexpected sight, an odd alleyway hidden in the shadows and deeply veiled in silence. Lumi had roamed these streets countless times before. He could have sworn this corner had never been there. It seemed like it had appeared out of nowhere. How was it possible? Fueled by torturous curiosity, I love that wording, he still had a sense of caution, as detectives should. Intuition warned him of potential dangers, yet the alley seemed to be beckoning him to explore. What will Lumi do next? I honestly might do a part 2 of this video when my voice is recovered, because I've had a lot of fun. But for now, we'll leave today's demo day here. This has been White Cat Town Mystery. I believe that's it. A delightful visual novel mystery game that I'm having a ton of fun with. The characters are cool, the art is cool, and I'm deeply into the story. If you're interested in the game, you can check it out below, and if you liked the video, let me know. Until next time, bye!